My parents sold my late grandmother's jewelry to save my brother, and they had no idea I had proof it was mine. My grandmother left me a small jewelry box when she died. It wasn't worth a fortune, but every piece meant something to me. My parents knew that, so did my younger brother Ryan. I kept the box in a small safe at home. Then Ryan called me one Friday night. I got into film school. I smiled. That's great. He went quiet. It's expensive though. How much? $32,000. I knew exactly what he wanted. I told him I couldn't help. My daughter's surgery was coming up, and every dollar I had was already planned. Ryan said our parents would help him. 3 days later, my mom called. Can you come over? I went that evening. Ryan was sitting in the living room. Dad was beside him. Mom looked nervous. I asked what happened. She finally said it. We sold some of Grandma's jewelry. I stared at her. What jewelry? She wouldn't look at me. Your jewelry. I felt my stomach drop. You sold my grandmother's jewelry? Ryan needed the money. How much? $24,000. I couldn't believe it. You sold something that belonged to me to pay his debt? Mom said they were going to replace it. Dad said it was only temporary. I asked where they sold it. Dad stayed silent. Ryan looked at the floor. I didn't argue. I went home and opened Grandma's old storage box. Inside was an envelope I hadn't seen in years. It had her handwriting on it. I opened it. Inside was a jewelry inventory with photographs, serial numbers, and one signed document. The jewelry had been left to me. Every piece. I took the papers to the jeweler listed on the inventory. He recognized the jewelry immediately. Your parents brought these here 2 weeks ago. I asked if he had the transaction records. He did. They had sold everything for $24,000. I asked him one more question. Can I get it back? He shook his head. It's already gone. I left his store and called a lawyer. He looked at the documents and said something that changed everything. Your parents had no legal right to sell it. The next morning, he sent them a letter demanding the full $24,000. My parents called within an hour. Dad was furious. You're taking your own family to court over jewelry? I said no. I'm taking you to court because you sold something that wasn't yours. Mom started crying. We did it for Ryan. I looked at my daughter's surgery papers sitting on my desk. You didn't do it for Ryan. You did it because you always rescue him. She went silent. Then Dad said something I'll never forget. We thought you'd understand. I laughed. My daughter needed surgery. You knew that, and you still chose him. Nobody answered. 6 days later, the full $24,000 was back in my account. No apology, no explanation, just the money. I changed every password, closed the old account, removed every connection my parents had to my finances. Then I called Ryan. Did you know they were selling Grandma's jewelry? He was quiet. I asked again. He finally said yes. I hung up. A few months later, Ryan dropped out of the program. My parents asked me to help him again. I said no, not because I hated him, because I finally understood something. Every time they saved Ryan from the consequences of his choices, they made someone else pay for them. I never got Grandma's jewelry back, but I still have her inventory sheet with her handwriting on it. I keep it in the same safe where the jewelry used to be, and every time I look at it, I remember the one thing my parents forgot. It was never theirs to give away.